We could do now is we could take a break. No, I'm not really into that idea myself. Been waiting since friggin' March to say a few seconds. Might as well just, I mean, unless people want to have a break, then we'll have a break. I figure we just motor on. I needed a break in 1986. Thank you very much for sticking with us throughout this whole time, by the way. It's a trying time in the music world, no doubt about it. So delighted that in the, I wasn't kidding, a place like this, the birth of a place like this, came along at the exact time we all, in the music biz, certainly hoped it would, you know, that there's this, because these are the kind of venues that we play out in different parts of the world, and they were kind of sadly lacking in our part of the world, where, you know, a place that's really all about songs and music, and people come for the night to sing songs and hear songs and be a part of songs, and these are the churches for me, so glad to have another one. So I'm here to announce that I'll be here every Monday. It's not nothing. It's not a My wife just phoned in the room, guaranteed. She's like, what did you just say? It is great, it's fantastic, and let's keep it going. I'm going to sing a couple of songs. Let me see what I think. I want to sing a song. I haven't sung this one in a while. I wrote this song with a struggling young actor named Russell Crowe. As I've said many times on stage, I think we'll all agree he's doing quite well now. But us in Atlantic Canada, we know that he got his big break on the Republic of Doyle. For Jesus' sake, don't put that on the internet.
Russell!
I met Russell in the early 2000s when he was in Toronto doing a movie called Cinderella Man. It was a wonderful boxing movie. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing. It's a wonderful movie. And we just happened to meet up at all places. The NHL Hockey Awards. I'm serious. We were both giving out a trophy at the NHL Hockey Awards, and we just met up and started writing a few songs here, there, and everywhere for a band that he had in Australia, and then we wrote some songs for Great Big Sea and for my records and for a few things over the years. And then, but on this, a few months later, he made his first trip to Newfoundland, and it was funny. We were I think we were in Milwaukee. Where I believe, is it right in Milwaukee, anybody know off the top of the head that's where the American Boxing Museum is? How was the Alan Doyle concert last night? Not what we thought. There was a lot of American trivia. Anyway, we were in, I think it was Milwaukee, I can't remember, and it was the Boxing Museum, and he was doing something for Cinderella Man, I guess, press or what have you. And he said, I said, well, this is to be our last day together, type of thing. And I was going to fly home. They were going on to LA or wherever they were going next, or England or something. And he said, no, we'll drop you home.
It's on the way by.
Now, I'm trying to let you guys imagine what was going through my mind when the gladiator tells you he's going to drop you home from Milwaukee. And of course, we did. The next morning we flew from Milwaukee to St. John's. And so, I don't know how much time we have, but I could tell you this very, very quickly, I'll tell you. Sure, what odds? We're here now. We're on this plane, you know, this private plane with a half dozen people, press people, and and I'm flying into St. John's on a private plane, you know, a Hollywood kind of plane or whatever. And the co-pilot of this plane, who had been with there for this party for about a week, came back and said, "Alan, can I talk to you for a second?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "So I've been talking to air traffic control and customs in St. John's. Is there anything you need to tell me?" What? I don't really know. Because like they're asking a lot of questions about you, asking if it's you on the plane, and I was like, "Oh, I guess because they know me or whatever." And he said, "Well, why would they know you?" Now, let me try to explain what a dilemma that is. To be standing near the cockpit in a Hollywood airplane to try to explain to an American pilot that you're quite well known where we're going. And etc. You know, it was just awkward. That's what I was supposed to. Anyway, I said, "I don't know, I probably just know someone or whatever." He said, "Oh, whatever." Anyway, as we come into St. John's, I'm getting really nervous. And it dawns on me what's going on. At the time, on Friday afternoons, I was playing in a beer league, hockey league. And I played goal for the cop team, the RCMP team in St. John's, who played against the firefighter people, and then people from customs and the security guards from down at the pen. So all the customs gang at airport in St. John's were having a time. Here comes Johnny Shitty Goalie. Coming in on a plane with a famous fella now. We'll put him in his place. And I knew they had me too. I was like, there's nothing I could do, nothing. So we landed in St. John's, and I asked Russell, I asked the gang, I asked everyone, I said, "Look guys, can you do me a favor? Can you please let me go in first? Because whatever's going on, I want to make sure it gets out of the way." But, you know, so they say yes. So I get off the plane, I walk into the, you know, the private which I never even knew existed. Didn't know what it was. I go in, of course, there's Rodney, you know, who plays hockey with me on Wednesdays. And it's like, "Hey, Rodney." I swear to God, he says, "What do you got, Alan? Why? You got some ride home this time?" It's a good one, bud, yeah. He said, "Weren't at hockey last week?" I couldn't go to hockey last week. He said, "Was Russell Crowe on the plane?" And I was like, "Yeah, Russell and his mom and dad and a few people, yeah." And he's like, "Ah, cool." Do you want passports or whatever? "Oh yeah, you got the passports?" "Yep, got all the passports here." "Cool." Stan Small looks at me and said, "Do you think you mind a picture?" And I was like for customs or something? "Yeah, never mind, whatever, never mind." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I said, "Is that it?" And he goes like, "Are they staying?" I was like, "Yeah, they're staying for a night, yeah." And he said, "But they're staying with you, like." And I said, yeah, that's cool." That was it. I walked back to the private jet. Frank meets me at the top of the steps going, "What's going on?" I was like, "We're good." And I see this look comes over this international pilot's face, like, he's looking at me like, I've had an assassin on the plane for the last... This long-haired guy is clearly a spy. Anyway, the funniest part was they all came in, we all went And as we're stood up like in the customs area, just getting stuck, you know, coming in basically, and the Canadian customs truck was out taking bags off the back of this plane. And so we're just chatting, and everybody's saying a nice hello and stuff, it's fine. And we leave to drive down to my house. And Keith, who was Russell's manager, says, what about the luggage and stuff? And Rodney says, oh yeah, Alan said you were going to his house. And Keith says, yeah, he said, yeah, the boys brought it for you. Now Frank is spinning like a top. He's like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, the bags are all down and do you not want me? Are you telling me Canadian Customs just brought your luggage to Alan Doyle? And that's what started a one-day visit for. They've been there many times since, but that was the first thing. Later on that afternoon, it was a weird time in his life because he had just, you know, recently incarcerated in the U.S. and sort of came to Newfoundland, you know, and I was with him in New York City, and his helicopters flying around trying to find you and all this kind of crazy paparazzi stuff, and which was just incredible to see. And so we came to St. John's, you know, the airport, and trust me, I'm making a 3-hour conversation as short as I possibly can. And we were walking along Water Street, and Russell's looking in through the window of one of the shops, you know, like where you buy souvenirs or what have you. And a CBC truck van pulls up, and I started to go over to it because and a reporter who is a national news reporter right now, I won't rat him out, but he comes up to me and goes, "What are you, Alan?" I was like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" He's like, "Heard Russell Crowe's here with you." I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "That's him?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he said, "Do you think he'd mind a picture for the website?" And I was like, "Man, I think he's just trying to lay low." "Yeah, that's cool." And he got in the car and drove off. And little did I know that Russell had seen this whole thing in the reflection in the window. And he turns to me and says, "That's your paparazzi?" "Can I have a picture for the website?" "No, that's cool." And I think I can speak for him when I say he instantly fell in love with St. John's, Newfoundland. So we were writing songs, and I asked him about, you know, what he thought about the place, and he said, "Well, I'll tell you, I feel like I've been to a different place. That I was in one place, but this is different. This is not the same as any other place." And I was quite glad to hear him say that. Like he said, you know, if you want to go to all the places in the world, this is one of them. Yeah, this is a different place. And I told him sort of the history of Newfoundland joining Confederation. As I was joking, Canada joined Newfoundland in 1949. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And I just told him the story, you know, of Confederation, Joy Smallwood, and all the like, and how, you know, most of us gang were delighted to be Canadians, certainly am, and you know, folks from my grandparents' generation were always dubious about, you know, this foreign country called Canada that they were now apparently a part of, and I explained how the you know, the emigration patterns of places like Newfoundland immediately sent people away from, you know, small places like Petty Harbour, where I was from, to the mainland of Canada for work and all that kind of thing. And I said I'd always wanted to write a song about Newfoundlanders leaving, but there's been a lot of them, and I didn't want to write one like anyone else wrote. And he said, well, you know, he had this idea that, well, let's not write one about a whole bunch of people leaving, let's just write about one person leaving. So this is about one person leaving. About a goodbye party. Well, Jenny said goodbye this afternoon. As far as I can tell, she can't bear the goodbye evenings or the morning afters of farewell. She says, here you are, another one, to whose back I'm saying cheers. It's like a death in the family, and it's been going on for years. And so I'll cast my leaving shadow, and I'll be Canadian. But distance won't decide what matters to the hard rocks and loving sun. And when I'm thinking of St. John's, I'll bring her closer with this song. I don't know where I'm going, but I know where I belong. But don't get the old man started, or I'll have to hide him from the rum. If we can keep his mind from 49, well, he'll keep having fun. No, it's not the kids he's cursing, though I'm his third to leave. He's mad at Mr. Smallwood, and it's a parent's right to grieve. And so I'll cast my and goes the laughter of the children, supplanted by the rolling ghosts, and another tide surrenders to a far and foreign coast. I told Mama I'd stay close to the cousins who beat the path from our front door, one right after the other, and they won't be back no more. But the thing I think I fear the most, she whispered in my ear, as being the last flower in the garden, with no one left to care. And so I'll cast my leaving shadow, and I'll be Canadian. But distance won't decide what matters to the hard rocks of loving sun. And when I'm thinking of St. John's, I'll bring her closer with this song. I don't know where I'm going, but I know where I belong. Where I belong. I don't know where I'm going, but I know where I belong.
Yeah.